Program Director, the Tambo family, Honorable Minister of Arts and Culture, and Deputy Minister of Correctional Services, Honorable Premier of Gauteng, the Lord Mayor of Ekurhuleni, his worship, our religious leaders, led by His Grace, the Bishop of the Anglican Church, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Executive Officer of the Adelaide and Oliver Tambo Foundation, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me to the opening of the O.R. Tambo National Heritage Site, meant to pay tribute to the towering memory of our revered former President Oliver Reginald Tambo and his dear wife and comrade in struggle, Mama Adelaide Tambo. Comrade President O.R., as he was affectionately known, was a servant of the people who gave his all for our liberation struggle, serving for the longest period as a President General, Commander-in-Chief, as well as Ambassador Plenipotentiary of the African National Congress and the people of South Africa for most of his adult life. Celebrating the legacy of O.R. Tambo this year is especially memorable, given that this year marks the centenary of the ANC's existence. Over the past 18 years, the democratic state has put in place numerous programs to meet the goals of reconstruction and development. We have had the RDP, GEAR, ASGISA, the New Growth Path, and now the National Development Plan, all of which are designed to give effect to the aspirations of the Freedom Charter. As we take this moment to pay homage to his memory, we should always remember that the struggle he lived for is neither over nor nearer to its conclusion. 22 years ago today, in a message to the ANC Youth League rally, Comrade O.R. stated somewhat prophetically, and I quote, "Our victories have opened up new terrain of struggle, a new front as full of possibilities for swift and decisive advances as it is laden with the chances of reversals. We are therefore burdened with much more complex tasks than ever before." Close quote. Indeed, these prophetic thoughts only go to show the timeless vision of O.R. Tambo. South Africa today, no less than at the time O.R. made these warnings, faces complex tasks, not least unemployment, inequality, and poverty, as well as consolidating unity, non-racialism, non-sexism, and striving for prosperity. If not properly handled, these complex tasks that O.R. warned us about are likely to lead to reversals. We therefore need to work harder to keep at bay any threats that may undo the work of many years of struggle to bring about national reconstruction, peace, stability, and social cohesion, among others. As the current generation, we are privileged to have had as our mentors source of inspiration and fountain of wisdom, leaders of the caliber of O.R. Tambo and his generation. Their determination to stay the course, even in the face of seemingly intractable and insurmountable odds, leaves us with eminently suitable reference points. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed commendable that the Department of Arts and Culture has decided to honor O.R. and Adelaide Tambo's final resting place in this way. We must do this work. We must do this work to honor those whose contributions have changed the social, economic, and political face of our nation, and to immortalize the values and principles of those who stood for a free and united South Africa. We therefore take this opportunity to thank the Adelaide and O.R. Tambo Foundation, the Guruleni Metro, civil society organizations, and all other municipalities in the country who continue to preserve the legacy of O.R. Tambo. Indeed, this noble exercise should not end here, but continue to see many other great South Africans, regardless of their party political affiliation, memorialized and honored in this fashion. Such memorialized sites must also serve as symbols of reconciliation, nation building, and national healing, and helping us to craft a new and inclusive narrative of our country, a narrative reflective of our common heritage, and most importantly, our shared future. Program director, by all accounts, O.R. was an internationalist who forged and developed lasting relationships at party-to-party as well as people-to-people levels. In many ways, O.R. Tambo's life and work personified solidarity, and his life was an exemplar of international solidarity. His vision accounted for the unprecedented international support the African National Congress received during the dark days of exile. His life symbolized the value of the multilateral system, where all nations enjoy equal treatment and where nations are absorbed in the key task of creating a better world free of strife, hunger, and inequalities. Today, the world would do well to take a leaf from the book of humanists such as O.R. and Adelaide Tambo in striving to improve the lot of humanity. Accordingly, we are proud that today a free South Africa continues to support the struggle for a better world grounded in human solidarity and defined by justice, equality, and human dignity. Ladies and gentlemen, with the above in mind, we feel justified to contend that this historic work, the monument we are unveiling here today, will go a long way to etch in our national psyche the adorable lives of O.R. and Adelaide Tambo. Down the years and long after those of us who were his contemporaries, children, students, have departed the world of the living, this site will continue to ring out with O.R.'s awe-inspiring internationalism, solidarity, justice, freedom, and the desire to cherish, preserve, and if needs be, pay the supreme price for our common humanity. It will remain a shining testimony of our nation's reconciliation, social cohesion, nation building, as well as reconstruction and development. In the aura of its silence, it will exhort the coming generations to learn to respect unity, selflessness, service, humility, honesty, hard work, discipline, and mutual respect. It is on occasions like this that we necessarily have to remember that our struggle drew overwhelming support from men and women outside the borders of our country. In keeping with this spirit of internationalism, yesterday the President, His Excellency Comrade Jacob Zuma, hosted the National Order ceremony to bestow the Order of the Companions of O.R. Tambo on some of our friends and allies from outside our borders. The recipients came from as far-flung countries as Nigeria, Scotland, Italy, India, Cuba, and Cyprus. We are also working with other countries to map out our liberation heritage route, such as the Matola Raid Memorial in Mozambique, in memory of the martyrs killed by the South African Defense Force in a cross-border raid in Mozambique in 1981. And in conclusion, once again, let us heed the prescient words of President O.R. Tambo, and I quote, "Our victories have opened up new terrain of struggle, a front as full of possibilities for swift and decisive advances as it is laden with the chances of reversals. We are therefore burdened with much more complex tasks than ever before," close quote. And I want to leave you with one word from that great poetess of our times, Maya Angelou, when she admonishes that, and I quote, "Nothing will work unless you do." And I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Deputy President of the Republic. I'll call upon the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Kgalema Motlanthe.
La, la.